to give us a rundown of what happened last week in exchange for an additional Benny.
We talked with Mr. Morris. Was that last week, or was that the week
Yep.
before? Okay.
No, that was
last
the
week
beginning of
before
last week. Yeah.
before the fight.
Morris Emerson.
Yeah. And we learned that he would like to hire us to intercept the pay for the McPherson gang that was hired by Mr. Duvall. Um, and if we intercept their pay, the McPherson gang will not be at Mr. Duvall's disposal. And what sounds like, I don't know, Emerson mentioned that there is an annual sheriff's election, and I inferred that he wanted to ensure that his gang of undead are the dominant population, dominant population of the town, by kind of not chasing off the McPhersons, but just discouraging them from being around. And as we were getting this information, we bumped into the coffin dragger. Let's see, we did kill the coffin dragger as far as we can tell, and some young fella watched us fight the coffin dragger, and that dude was at least possibly with the Duvall. He was at least at the manor. And then we spoke with the dealer a little bit, who mentioned that the coffin dragger might, while it may be here for Abigail, might not be here because of Abigail, and very likely has its own conjurer very close by in order to summon it.
Cool. Let me. There you are. Excellent. Thank you for the rundown. Anybody have anything they want to add or change or ask about? Okay, I have one thing that I want to ask about, and then one detail that I'd like to correct. The thing I want to ask about is, did I say that the gang that Duvall had hired was the McPherson gang?
That's what I have written down.
Yeah, I mean, like I had been referring to them in my notes as the Duvall gang, so I'm not sure where that came from. That's not saying that I didn't say it. Like, it's entirely possible that that did happen. I think, unless anyone has any objections, just for clarity's sake, let's just keep it as the Duvall gang. That way we've got the
Okay.
Duvalls, right? With Christoph Duvall as sort of the head of that organization, and the Emerson gang with Morris Emerson as the head of that organization. Sound reasonable to everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, the correction I want to make is the dealer never mentioned that the conjurer had to be close.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. But everything the conjurer said was really just him speculating on things. He was making no assertions as to what was fact or not fact. It was just, these are other possibilities that you may want to consider.
His exact wording was essentially to say, who else would benefit from hurt, or who else would be hurt were Abby hurt?
Yeah.
Was the grenade he threw in specifically.
he seemed kind of surprised by our deductions as well, which was charming.
Right. And I believe, right, we left off last week sort of in the middle of that conversation. Well, not necessarily the middle of that conversation, but during that conversation, because there were some technical issues. So why don't we pick up right there? I don't know. Let me make sure I'm on the right place. I am. Let me bring everybody over. Yeah, I don't know if anyone has anything else they want to either talk to the dealer about or discuss amongst yourselves, but that is where we will pick up. It is right after the fight. You have been engaged in conversation with the dealer regarding potential motivations for this Death Dragger.
I think I'd want to ask Frendel, um, in your time wandering before meeting us. I mean, you mentioned you haven't really picked fights with folks that are particularly dangerous, but I mean, do you ever, besides the Hellhounds, ever come into contact with groups like them before?
No, I mean, Hellhounds was in many ways my lowest ebb.
Kind of nods.
You don't work the job I was working for them unless you burnt about every other bridge there was to burn. In the case of burning bridges, mostly that's just me running away from place to place. But I didn't really run with like groups so much.
Any particular heist to pull up anything? I mean, you have the glove. You made that or come upon it?
Oh, no, I mean when I found my belief, I went out and got a bunch of these gloves and then I worked on them. But I bought them.
Definitely a handmade artifact, right?
Oh yeah, I mean they're all like the entire outside of it is covered in what is clearly like friendly marking religious iconography into it with a knife. It's none of it is particularly like good, and at least in terms of quality.
um, do they glow, right, when you use the glove?
Yes,
Okay, all right.
all the symbols and kind of the like I think the glove itself generally stays like a glove, but all the symbols are what like produces a bunch of light whenever a bunch of my trappings include the waving of my hand and the glowing of the glove.
All right.
Cool as hell.
It's most
Yeah.
noticeably, it is the epicenter for the holy symbol. Whenever I hold my hand up and make the bubble around me, the epicenter that is constantly producing it is the glove.
Cool. Sorry for the third degree. I'm just making sure I've got my notes right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like you've probably seen him like working on some of the symbols on it. He doesn't as much anymore, but like the process was clear, like him finding about a new symbol, learning about a new thing, and then he can't he can't write anything down. So instead he just
Okay, yeah.
scrawls their symbols into his gloves so that he remembers them.
Hey, Marshall, are the bodies of these creatures still around?
The zombies.
Does it
No,
sound
they dissipated much like that interestingly enough, they didn't dissipate. There were bodies lying there as long as that Death Dragger was still around. But as soon as the Death Dragger went incorporeal, everything that it brought with it went incorporeal as well and faded from existence.
Okay. Thank goodness I didn't want to have to clean it up.
Do we know if the Death Dragger is gonna get back up?
It's like disappeared, right?
Right, but
Correct.
like
Yeah, we only
we don't
reset
know
it.
if it's gone.
I mean,
Hey,
it feels pretty gone. Not that it
Kinda-
won't come back again, but I think for now.
I mean,
you
are
know,
there? Go on.
luckily it's not the quietest thing on earth. So, I mean, if it comes back, we should be able to hear it by the time it gets close to one of us. Hey, let's go call out Abigail's name.
Do you think there are any other kinds of precautions we can be taking, or should we just wait to hear Abigail Beckett? I'm here to put you in this box.
Silver bullets, I reckon.
I'm not sure is that how that works?
I don't know. Is that? I mean, isn't that how it works?
Cornelius?
I heard
Ooh.
somebody say silver bullets was good for werebeavers.
Where deers?
No, beavers.
Oh,
Although
Those
there's
are
probably
okay.
pretty bad.
there's weredeers too, I bet.
Hell, I don't know.
What would you rather
Is
face, a were deer or a were beaver?
Oh, deer, hands down. You seen a beaver's teeth?
Hmm.
antlers?
I'm not as scared of that as I am as the teeth.
Marcel, is there any kind of check we might be able to make about the, I guess, operational? I guess we've already done the check against the creature. Sean had a really good question that I wanted to actually ask about, but I forgot what it was.
Silver bullet.
Oh, I guess weaknesses would be something I'd be thinking about, but I don't think I rolled well enough earlier. So
Yeah, I think that will have to wait for another time.
yeah.
What
Do we
time?
want to? Yeah, go on.
Sorry, I was just gonna ask what time it is, so we can orientate, or at least so I can orientate myself.
I mean, it's evening. It's, probably somewhere 8, 9 p.m., somewhere in that
Okay.
range.
Okay.
Did
Want to set
y'all,
up for the night and go to Duval's in the morning?
if I remember correctly, yeah, that was our plan.
I think that's a fine idea.
Oh God.
We'll weigh what the other side has to say and figure out if we want to get involved at all.
Or if we're gonna be robbing a train.
We'll be honest, the train sounds real good.
Maybe.
What y'all think of Mr. Emerson while we spoke to him?
I mean, it he might not be like a politics person, but he does seem selfish. He's doing good with it though, so that's better than some.
Hmm. I think he means well, but I don't know that it's going well.
I mean, do y'all trust him all right that he has the town's best interest at heart or just his own?
Yeah, I'd say both. I mean,
He's certainly looking after his people.
Hmm.
I mean,
And
is he looking after his people or is he making use of a displaced people? Like, I want to. Where are these folks coming from? Who is turning them? Like, are they just here because he's created a haven, or is he bringing them here for his labor purposes? I mean, uh,
well,
he
I
seems like he says all the right things.
And chooses not to speak when we have pointed questions.
think he obviously has his own motivations. But I talked to the people here, the dead ones, anyways. Ain't no one out there making them. They're just getting up like some do. But they're finding their way here. Maybe that has a meaning, or maybe word's just getting around. Either way, they're seeking safety, and it ain't their fault what's happened. Also, we're kind of poor still. So, without hearing the other side, I'm with Saint on this.
All for hearing it out and making a judgment call once we have at least heard Duval's position.
Agreed.
All right. All right.
I'm definitely for talking to Duvall as well. Um, I just want to make sure we uh, aren't helping someone get more power who doesn't need it. Um, but you're right. I mean, money is good. I certainly don't have as much as I once did. Uh,
You know,
Hey,
Rattler armor ain't gonna buy itself. Well, we should hit the hay. That way we can talk to him in the morning.
Mhm.
All right. Anything anyone else want to do before morning?
no.
Maybe I'll ask Franklin if you want to go gambling.
Well, now that's something I can go out and do. Hell yeah, let's go fucking gambling.
All right. Um, who's calling it a night and who's going gambling?
I'm calling it a night.
Mm-hmm.
I think Joan is also calling it a night.
Okay.
Joan is kind of spending some time in a little bit of extra mourning. I think thinking about Donnie's position. It's no longer like finding her missing son.
Mhm.
It's helping her son die peacefully or something like that.
Mhm.
And so she's just kind of taking time to sit on that feeling. And I'm also, this is me taking the favored edge that
Cool.
specifically for Baron Samedi wearing the all black mourning clothes. Just yeah.
Is
Very
it
cool.
is it noticeable that these kind of feelings are weighing on Joan?
Yeah, I think so. She is thinking about him a lot, especially with all um, the undead walking around, and the conversations with the dealer and Samedi and everything. So yeah, it's definitely on her mind.
I think Thomas would. Are you going in the inn?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I think Thomas would like knock on your door after maybe a half hour or so, just to check in and see how you are.
Mhm. Yeah. I'm doing all right. I'm concerned about our next steps, and I'm interested in hearing what Emerson can tell me. And as far as some way to find Donnie, it seems like it's uh, a closer bet than anything else so far. So
I think we're gonna find him, and I don't know how we do that or what it looks like, but I'm here to help you however I can, Joan.
I appreciate that. It's been nice to have uh, someone like family nearby, someone from home, and stuff's weird, and things have gotten a lot stranger than I ever thought they could, and it's
Oh, I'd say.
but that's okay.
Speaking of strange, your son, is he alive, like walking around, or is he a? I'm just not clear on.
From from what I've gathered, talking, he died, uh, and
Oh,
then something latched onto his soul and rode that back into his corpse, and rose that corpse, and is now walking around in it.
just well, it's just awful.
Well, I
There's,
don't know. I don't know how much control Donnie has, or how much control this Loa has, but
I mean, if his body's here and there's a spirit from somewhere else in it, I mean, don't that mean he can come back too?
yeah, I certainly think so. I mean, I think that he's back with it also. Uh, I think it's a one body, two spirits kind of thing. Like what happens when I'm, allowing one of my Loa to uh, ride along with me.
All right, well, that's something then, right? That means that maybe there's a chance.
Mhm. I think what I'm coming to terms with is that helping Donnie is helping Donnie return to death peacefully, not helping him live.
Oh, but what if he's like them,
Oh,
alive but not?
I don't know. I don't know if it would. I don't know if I'd make it through seeing Donnie and him not recognizing me.
I think he'd recognize you.
We'll see.
Hey, you doing all right with all this voodoo stuff you're into now?
Yeah, I think I'm doing all right. It's
I mean, I gotta tell you, Jones, sometimes it's pretty scary.
sometimes things get scary. I mean, I'm been around here watching you crush things with your metal hands. Uh, but I'm in control. As far as the spirits go, something that I do have control over.
Hmm. Well, I trust you. I don't know about them, but you're all right.
You're all right too.
All right, I'm gonna just keep an eye out for the others. See you in the morning.
Yeah, yeah. Good night.
Friendly, there's a knock at your door.
Mm-hmm. I open it up.
The dealer's standing there. Friendly, thank you for abiding by the house rules. I've bought you a new, freshly scented silk bag. May I launder the old one, please?
Sure. I'll hand me that bag. I'll switch it, and then I'll leave it out in front so you don't gotta.
Oh, very,
You know.
very kind of you, sir. Hands you the bag and
Yep.
takes 10 paces down the hall or whatever.
Yeah, I swap it out and then just hang the old bag on the door handle and close the
Yeah, and
door.
you just hear boots on the floor as he walks
Yep.
up, grabs it, and walks off to do whatever he's gonna do with it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Franklin and Cornelius, both of you gambling, or just one of you gambling, or neither of you gambling? I guess are the options.
No, I'm gambling.
Okay.
I feel like it'd be weird to not be gambling in the dealer's house. It
Uh,
feels like a trap either way, so I feel like I'll just do it.
It's you gotta gamble with your boy here, man.
Yeah,
yeah.
it feels weird.
Interestingly, are you sitting down? Playing poker, blackjack? Those are your
I
two
think
options, basically. I don't think there's a full set of table games here.
I think Cornelius only knows how to play poker. He does
Great.
not know how to play blackjack.
Great. What
You
sort
think
of
Cornelius learned how to play poker when he got this like deal and the power? Right? He's like, I gotta
That's
learn how to play
exactly it.
poker. Yeah.
He fell into this deal because he doesn't know how to play poker. He had to learn.
Yeah.
Okay, so the two questions are what stakes are you playing for? And how many hours are you playing?
Ooh. I'll gamble with like $10.
Okay, so
And
the
for
ante's
like
going to
2
be
hours.
$10 for 2 hours. Great. Here's what we're going to do. I'll roll a d20. Actually, let me just do that right now.
We made rules if you want me to send those to you.
Oh, yeah, great. I mean, I think this is basically what we're talking about, but go ahead and send them to me. Let's see how close I am. Oh, yeah, it's almost the same thing. I'll do it that way. I was just going to roll a d20 to set the target number. But let's, for consistency's sake, let's do this. Oh boy. Okay. You'll each get different numbers. So since you've already said you're only gambling for 2 hours at $10 a hand, for hour number 1, right? The number that you need to beat is a 3.
Oh. Should I roll that now?
Yeah, go ahead and roll that gambling skill.
Okay.
Oh, good Lord. Oh, good
Oh.
God.
Yay.
All right. So that is 22 minus 3 is 19 times 10. And the first hour you win $190.
Oh.
Holy cow.
Okay. Hour number 2 coming up.
Does this town have that much money?
No, I do.
Well, I mean,
The dealer gets got money.
that's not awful. Okay. It's not great, but not awful. Hour number 2, the target number is 10.
Okay. Ooh. Let me check my things that let me do things about this. Free re-roll with my card sharp.
Yeah, great. Go for it.
Ugh. Let's use a Benny. I'll roll with this. I'll roll with
Great.
this.
So you lose $30.
Yeah.
Franklin, how about you? How many hours and what's your ante per hour? And there you go.
$10.
$10. And how many hours are you doing this?
4 hours.
4?
Yeah,
Did I hear
4.
that correctly? Okay.
Good God.
How much money do you have?
$96.
Okay. Okay. The first number you've got to beat is 5 for hour number 1. Oh, good Lord.
I've been rolling around here with an unskilled die. I just picked one good myself.
Okay. You just lost $50.
All right. Don't worry, guys. We got this.
Okay. Hour number 2. It's a 9.
Oh my
So you're gonna make it like 2 hours.
Just pop off.
Here we go.
Wait.
There it is.
Oh, what the fuck?
Okay.
Oh, it was a 9 on the dice. That's
You
tough.
lost $20.
Oh. Okay.
Do you still have money?
I got $26.
Ticker tape and minus 70.
And you're still rolling, is that correct?
Third hour, the cigarette money goes.
I gotta go.
The number this time's a 10.
It's gonna be very funny when you advocate for the train robbery. It's got a different level of context to it.
Okay. How much money do you have left?
$26.
Okay. Because you're now out $90, right? So you owe, what is it, $64 at the table. The individual that you lost to, a member of one of Duvall's hired hands, is getting politely angry with you. How do you plan on making this right?
Yeah, shit. I don't know. I never got this far deep into it. Yeah.
That's no sort of answer. You
Hey, man.
lost fair and square,
All right.
and I want my
What you
money.
want?
How are you
What
going to
you
get
want?
it?
Shit, I don't know, bro. I think I
Those
got an idea, actually.
those pistols are pretty. How about you give me one of
Ooh.
them?
Oh. No. No, we can't do that. How about this? I'm about to come up on a big play. All I need you to do, give me 1-2 days. And we'll have your little money.
It, um, why would I allow you to wait 2 days to pay me? You owe me
Hey,
$64 right now. What do I
hey,
get
I don't
for
know what to
waiting?
tell you. What you get for waiting? Shit. $70. That's what you get. You look.
$128.
Oh hell no.
Well, then I'll take one of them guns.
Which one?
You choose.
Oh god damn it. All right, buy a new fucking gun. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Does he want Darla or does he want Diane? I'm gonna give him my where is it? Where my pistol at? My Colt Army. He can have it. Fuck it. He can have my Colt Army.
All right. Yeah, delete that Colt Army from your inventory.
Man, who would have known gambling was not good for you?
Like, so many people could have told you that.
All right. Anything else, Cornelius and Franklin, want to get up to while you're in the saloon?
I think that I don't see that gun get handed back, so I go to bed.
Hey,
Okay.
Cornelius.
Hmm?
We got to rob that train.
What? Why? What happened?
Hey, I was on a roll. I was on a huge roll.
Oh, were you? I came out to about almost 200. How'd you
Oh,
do?
oh yeah. I, I came out one of my guns. Yeah,
Which one?
there's the car armor that guy over there has.
The one spinning?
Yeah, it
Uh,
looks so good. Yeah, that's Darla.
He's
How-
trying to spin it on his finger and he drops Darla on the floor.
Oh, he doesn't know what he's doing
how
today.
much did you How much did you sell her for?
Fucking $64. $64.
Oh, all right. All right. Uh, he's gonna go into his wallet and start counting bills, and
Whoa.
he's gonna walk over to the gentleman.
Wait. What you doing?
Getting you a very valuable armament back.
I don't want you to do that for me. I lost it on my own. I
Well,
get it back on my own.
I hear you. But it's about doing um a a nice thing like Frendel would. And I have the means. Uh,
Oh.
I didn't walk into the saloon with all this cash. I'll be fine if I walk out without it.
Cornelius, if you buy that gun, you can keep the gun.
I would rather not. It is a tool in your hands. It's a trap in mine.
Hey, it's not in my hands. I don't have it. I lost it. You're not gonna give it to me. If you want it, you can buy it. But I don't have it and I don't deserve it right now. I'm gonna get it back at another time.
All right. He'll wad his wallet back up. Uh, are you gonna be all right without it? Do you have enough?
What?
I mean, if it is that we're gonna be robbing a train tomorrow, then want to make sure you're not gonna be without anything to defend yourself.
Oh no, I, I still got Diane Diane right here. And I got a leash on my back right here for Sonny my Winchester.
Okay, I was trying to remember where your third firearm was. Yeah, if you're sure, that's fine. I'm sure Miss Broussard may she made mention of being low on funds as well. I'm not used to, frankly, carrying around all this cash.
Hey, hey, it feel good in your pocket after a while. That that $96 felt real healthy in my pocket, real real nice.
I don't know. I kind of felt like I had my hand in the tithing plate. Feels wrong. I just like the game.
What the hell? That's the whole fun of the part about it is that you're risking something.
Yeah, but I grew up in the clergy. Money ain't really have a lot of weight to me.
We'll see. Hey. Yeah. Hell, that shit mean a lot to me. I was yeah, my blood pumping.
I can tell.
God, I should really learn how to do this shit
Oh.
better one day.
Somebody invent the telephone quick so Franklin can call the 1-800 I have trouble with gambling number.
We love gambling.
All right. Abigail, anything that you want to get up to or any conversations you want to have before the end of the evening? I know you're in pretty rough shape from the fight.
No, nothing off the top of my head right now.
Great. All right. Night comes. Just to be clear, Morris Emerson, it is the night of the 2nd. You will wake up on Sunday, August 3rd. And Morris Emerson, said that the train was expected into town the evening of the 4th.
Okay, I'm sorry. Can I
Mhm.
get a quick recap of how we got here?
Yeah, absolutely.
I
There
remember speaking to Morgan Emerson at the end of last session, but I don't know what happened at the start of this session.
Okay. Well, you spoke with Morris Emerson at the beginning of last session. He after that conversation, he went back to his place. You were sitting around discussing that introduction and peculiarities about that conversation and about the deal that he offered to rob the train, or not the train so much, but the transport that carries the cash that Christoph Duvall uses to pay his henchmen. And Emerson, the offer that Emerson made was he would give you details about it. You could rob it and you could keep whatever you got. Like he's not interested in the money. He's interested in Duvall not having the money. Then there was the Death Dragger fight where you
Yeah, okay.
you're right.
Yeah,
And then
okay. I'm good on
Right.
what. Yeah,
Right.
okay.
And ended
All right.
with the conversation with the dealer. Today, what has happened is there was a brief conversation between Friendly and Cornelius, just getting a little more details about Friendly's past. Not super in depth, but just a few questions about whether or not Friendly had been involved with other organizations like the Hellhounds, which he said he had not, and that was a pretty low point. Then Thomas and Joan had a conversation about Joan's missing son Donnie and how she was feeling given the new information she learned about that. And it sounds like you came back to witness
The gambling. Yep.
the gambling.
Yep. Okay. Then yeah, there's nothing
Great.
that I think Abigail would jump to.
Okay. Wonderful. It is the Sunday, August 3rd. Who do you think is first to be up and about, or which among you are the early risers this morning?
I usually get up pretty early to do my minding, and especially early in this case because I'm doing it outside and not
Mhm.
in the inn where the dealer is.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Thomas is probably always that, but in terms of the people that sleep,
Mhm.
it's different.
Yeah, up early-ish.
Okay, so it sounds like some combination at a minimum, right, of Friendly, Thomas, and Cornelius, whichever of you passes through the lobby sort of first, the dealer attracts your attention and holds out an envelope. It says, you and your friends have a message waiting for you.
I will take it.
Great.
Thanks.
Yeah, very nice quality paper, nice calligraphy on there. You open it up, and it is an invitation for the lot of you who were involved in the terrific fight last evening to join Christoph Duvall for dinner at his estate at 9 p.m. this evening.
This ain't a trick of yours or nothing, is it?
Oh no, he had a representative come by early this morning to drop it off. Before the sun was up, in fact.
Well, I'll be. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, I
Hey,
thought you wanted to have a conversation with Mr. Duval.
we do, but that don't mean it's a good thing.
Mm.
How's the breakfast here? Continental or?
Oh, you'll have to check at the saloon. I don't do any cooking over here.
Oh, I bet if you did, you might get maybe better clientele.
Better than you? I can't imagine.
Oh, flattery will get you everywhere. I go tell everyone the good news.
That we have food here.
That there's no that there's food in the saloon maybe, but we have an invitation.
Good. That's what we needed. How we want to spend the rest of the day?
What time is the invitation for? Is it just come to
9
come to
p.m.
me 9 p.m. Okay.
Might be, let's see. You should go look for that angel person, right?
Right, but she's not. She's not here. When we speak with Mr. Duval, we'll maybe be able to ask him if, in his time acquainted with her, if he knows where she's gone.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. I have no fucking idea what to do this day. The gambling was a good part of my time, and now that's gone.
Well, I don't know that it's gone. You just got to go back in the saloon.
One day I'm gonna saddle back up.
You sound very down, Franklin. Are you okay?
I lost an important woman in my life. She meant the world to me. She saved my life on many occasions.
Which one?
Darla,
Oh, not Darla.
How'd it
goddamn.
how'd it happen?
I was playing blackjack and I felt it in my soul. I had 20. I said, it hit me. I knew I was supposed to get a one right there, so I think.
I
You-
mean,
You hear the dealer chime in and say, "Oh, Franklin, I don't mean to butt in, but perhaps that was part of your problem last night. You see, you were playing poker."
Wait, what are you talking about? that that's why I
okay.
wasn't supposed to flip my cards over like
Now
that.
Mm.
I'm seeing now the problem, which is that I kind of thought that maybe if I never brought up gambling, it'd miss you. And I'm realizing that means that I didn't prepare you for any of it. And
Who
now
are
it's
you
getting you.
talking to like that? I knew I knew gambling before you, man. I just didn't
Oh, that's good.
do it.
Okay, I don't feel as bad then.
Was raised a preacher's son. Technically, I think we've accurately been warned. Just whether or not we're heathen is. I'll I will admit that this is at least my introduction. So, as I said, if you feel like you could use a little bit of help trying to acquire the Darla, right? Darla back. Just let me know.
I'm gonna get it back. I'm gonna get it back. Darla can't go long without me.
Oh boy. All right.
How many shots is Darla again?
Darla, 6 shots, but all she ever needed was one.
Yes, I'm going to go need 7. I'm going to the saloon
Yeah.
until we are ready to go to whatever it is we're doing now.
Thomas places a consoling hand on your shoulder. Franklin says, I know how you feel. I'd miss Jennifer back on the train. They can't keep us apart like this, you know.
Jennifer?
Yeah, my
Are you-
shovel.
Oh, oh God. You scared the hell out of me. I thought you was talking about that hand you handed to me when we was on the train fighting those weird monster creatures. Oh,
No. Do you still have that?
no, I fucking threw it, man. That was fucking weird.
Oh, no. I just meant to, we both feel a connection to our the tools we use.
Right. I feel it. I feel it. Crazy. I stole that gun off a dead man's corpse.
Well, we're just gonna have to go win it back.
Goddamn right. We got to rob these people.
Speaking of, I mean, we got all day. I'm not saying we do the train job, but ain't that tomorrow night if we was gonna do it? Shouldn't we maybe take a look at the where?
Hell, I'm down. Shit, let's go scope it out.
Okay, I'm sorry. I know I was off to the saloon to drink, but I do have to question, why are we about to commit this crime?
We're not about to. We're just maybe considering. It's a maybe.
Yeah. I mean, if you're considering it, I'd really recommend not scouting it out as a group.
I'm
Well,
still unsure why we're even. We could get. I mean, yes, most of our work thus far has put us certainly in harm's way, but I don't, as far as I'm aware, think we've actually just done a crime to do a crime.
Well, it's more like a Robin Hood if I'm understanding it correctly.
well, we did just do a crime to get Thomas his new heart. So
Yeah, actually, we have been doing some crime.
I'm not. It's not that I'm against crime as a whole. I mean, yes, you are right, Franklin. I did steal. Well, although I helped create, so it's not really quite the same.
I mean, it's different when you have to like go use a rope, climb into the building, sneak in there, snoop around, go down, uh, and have to destroy the defenses to make. It sounds like we did a crime if we put it that way. If we didn't own it, we kind of just took it.
At least crime adjacent.
I'm not disagreeing or arguing that point, but I'm wondering, like, there was a reason for that. There was a reason being that it kept Thomas with us. What is
Oh, we'll be cutting off the money flow coming into the other boys, living boys, and that would make them start disbanding because as they see it, they're not all that loyal without the money.
If we was thinking of doing such a thing, which we're only maybe considering, but it would be getting us paid and maybe doing something good, but we don't know what his offer is in return. Mostly it's also because I don't know what to do in this town until tonight.
Can't really argue with that, I guess.
Oh yeah, shit. We're gonna scope it out now.
If it's close by, I'm going. But friendly's right. We don't all have to go.
I'll be around here, and if you want, maybe two folks could wander up north. But it is just that manor house up there. I'll point to the north side of town.
You still got that scope on you?
Assuming you're talking to me, and yeah,
Of course,
my
you're
shit.
literally the only one who'd have such a thing.
Hey, I don't fucking know, man.
Well, Joan
But
might
yeah,
actually.
yeah, we act like she's just not a real good shot. I remember she had a couple crazy ones. Let's
What's
see.
the name of the guy, the good gunman in the Wild West review? What was his name?
Hold on a second.
I'm thinking maybe Joan's better than him, and he's incredible.
Big
I don't
Wade
know.
Sunday.
Big Wade.
Big fucking Wade Sunday.
Big Wade.
Big Wade was he was a guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I figure we can take a look, through the scope, see what there is to see.
Hey, like blaming me.
Okay. So it sounds like some people are scoping out the Duval Manor House.
No, we're going to see where the train robbery should be.
The
Oh, okay.
the station that the train is going
Yeah,
to pull into,
great.
which I think is
Fantastic.
nearby, right?
It's yeah, it's about 3-hour ride south of here. It a place called Lambrook, but you recall from your conversation with Morris Emerson that Lambrook train station is basically all that Lambrook is. There's no town there. It's just this one small private station that is on a private spur of the railways specifically for this purpose.
Hell yeah. We scope it out.
Great. Let me know who's going. It sounds like definitely Thomas and Franklin. Anybody else heading to Lambrook train station? Okay. The other four of you, yeah, the other four of you, what, if anything, do you plan on getting up to today while you're killing time in town?
I think I'm just gonna sit out on like one of those tables outside of the inn and just
Mhm.
like watch the town basically.
Okay.
We haven't really seen like what a day to day here looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Is it all right if I sit with you with my book?
Sure.
All right.
Great. Among the things that you notice are there are very few humans that make it down past the general store that aren't making a beeline for the saloon. And when they're done in the saloon, they make a beeline for north of town. There's not a lot of lingering going on. Similarly, the Walking Dead of Emerson's crew basically go from the Emerson compound to the saloon and back, and that's about it. Right? Every now and then, there's some commotion that sort of spills out of the saloon and into the street. But at this point, well, what you witness is that it's really just yelling and screaming before and taunting before the Walking Dead either voluntarily return to the Emerson compound or they are pulled away from their human potential combatants so that they avoid any gunfights.
So does it seem like they're policing their own better than like because they technically there's two law enforcement ostensibly in town.
Mhm.
There is the whoever the sheriff is today, since the other one is dead as of last
Mhm.
night. And then there is the Pinkerton adjacent thing going on. So like,
How about if
yeah.
you and Cornelius make me a notice roll? Yeah, hell yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good. You both sort of get the sense of this. Cornelius, you think you see it. You might be a little unsure, but in checking with Friendly's confident, and his confidence bolsters your confidence. Both sides seem well aware that they are sitting on a powder keg, and neither side wants to be the side to light it. Does that make sense to you?
Makes sense. I guess the follow-up question, or
Mhm.
potentially the question before that, is like, I don't know that we have seen the I keep referring to them as the Pinkertons. They're not that, but the private security force. I don't know that we seen them leaving the going
I would
out into
say
the
this:
town proper much.
you have no way of knowing whether or not the human representatives you've seen so far are the private security
That's
force or
true,
just
yeah.
hired hands. Right.
That's true. I guess if you have money, you can kind of deputize whoever the fuck.
Right.
Just
Like,
put a
yeah, I
gun in their
mean,
hand and say, "Get out there."
you've seen what in any other town, you would sort of consider either, rough and tumble veteran like cow herders, right? Experienced ranchers, right? That are comfortable with weapons to, people not quite, Franklin's level of gunfighters, but clearly people that are comfortable with guns, whether or not, these are whatever private security, Morris Emerson was referring to. no way to know that information.
Mm-hmm.
Abigail and Oni, anything in particular you are getting up to this day?
It's not really there is
Oh,
a
actually,
sto-
not Oni. I'm sorry, Abigail and Joan. Anything you are getting up to this day?
Oh,
Well, we have a dinner party tonight, so I am going to head to the store, see if I can reasonably find something a little nicer than my Dr. Doug.
I think Joan would be interested in going and talking to Emerson again, and just kind of asking and trying to learn about the origin of these undead folks.
Okay. Abigail, let's unwind this situation first. You head up to the store, and Mr. Turner is behind the counter, sort of cheek resting in his palm, sort of half asleep. And the bell rings as you open the door, and he startles. Oh, hello, ma'am. Can I help you?
Just here looking for some finery. I mean, well, whatever passes, unless there's a tailor woman somewhere around.
Oh, no, we haven't had a proper tailor in town for some time. We do have a few items left that may fit, and there is a very sparse selection of items. Whatever, mechanically speaking, if you decide that you want one of the 3 or 4 pieces that are actually here and available, they are 5 times what fine clothing would be in the Deadlands PDF.
General equipment.
And if there's not a fine clothing thing, we will figure out. I'm pretty sure there is, but we can.
Suit, fancy dress. There we go.
There you go.
$15. So it would be $75.
Correct.
F that. You have to rob a train.
Yeah, I'll just leave.
Okay. Well, I'll knock $5 off. Like he knows. Like he Mr. Turner's not an idiot, right? But he's got what he's got.
Apparently he is.
Yeah, true.
5 times price.
But all right. Joan. Of the 3 of you that are in town, you see Joan approaching the Emerson Ranch. Anybody attempting to go with her?
Maybe just ask what she's up to.
Well, I mean, kind of like I mentioned before, I wanted to speak with Emerson and see if he could tell me more about where his crew should come from, what anything I can find out about how he's finding them, or how they're getting here.
Would you like some company?
I'd appreciate it. Definitely.
Close up my book and I'll walk with you.
All right. Okay, let me see. How do I want to do this? God damn it. Okay. Max and Maggie, let me know if you have any vision here.
I see Abigail's token.
I don't see anything.
I see myself and Abigail, which might be the issue.
Well, let's try this.
Yeah, that's definitely Abigail and not Joan, because now I see this map.
Oh, okay. Let me go back this way and try this again. All right. Because my reading comprehension is excellent. How about now?
Yeah.
Ta-da!
Okay.
I still
fantastic.
see. No, I'm just kidding.
You son of a bitch. All right. You knock on the door. One of these guys. Can I help y'all?
Well, yeah. We were just hoping we could chit chat with Mr. Emerson a moment.
Nah, y'all get fucked. Right. And then this guy comes up and whispers something in his ear. And you basically hear him say, nah, these are the ones Mr. Emerson was talking to. And like, oh, sorry about that. We don't get much of your kind in here. Hold on. Right. And he waves you in and opens this door to on the left-hand side of the screen. It's to your right as you're walking in. Go on in, take a seat. Hold on. Other side. Yeah, and after right. Yeah, after 15 minutes or so, Mr. Emerson comes walking in, sits down. As he does, actually, no, he would, yeah, he comes in, comes around through this door, right? He's got a bottle under his arm with the cork in it, and he's holding 2 plates and puts them down in front of you. He goes, "Wow, this is a surprise. What to what do I owe the pleasure of this visit?" And what he's put on in front of you, it looks a lot like just a plate with raw hamburger with some herbs on top of it. And a cracked egg.
Yeah.
It's good for your
Tartar,
coat.
delicious.
Well,
Yeah.
oh, I was hoping to
I'm
ask you a
sorry. Yeah,
little bit
go
about.
ahead. And he sits down, pulls the cork out of the bottle, starts drinking, and some booze runs down his chin.
So your crew here. I was just curious. Do you advertise about your opportunities, or do these folk just kind of show up here for you?
I do not advertise, but I like to think that the way I treat these folk is advertisement enough, and that word must get out that if you are unfortunate enough to deal with this kind of affliction, that you can find a safe home at the Emerson Ranch.
That's a fine sentiment. How often do you tend to get newcomers? Uh, is a fast growing population for you, or?
It does seem like the stream of newcomers is fairly steady, um, which is good news, as we seem to get new folks just about as uh, just about in time to replace those that we lose from this ongoing, never-ending nightmare of a battle for the soul of this town with that bastard Christophe Duval. Have you all thought more about my offer?
We
Certainly,
have. Yeah.
certainly we've been thinking about it. A couple of us are taking a look at the station and making some plans and getting ideas, but um, we are still a little ways away from then. Um, I think I want to shoot straight with you, Mr. Emerson. My son Donnie, I think, well, let's say if he were here, I think he'd find himself right at home here with you and your crew. And I suppose I'm looking for a way to look for him. And I don't suppose you have any leads, anywhere I might be able to start, anywhere, any other hotspots for, you know, folk that ain't exactly on their first life.
Hmm. Well, I gotta tell you, just because I have made a comfortable home for some of these undead, don't make me no expert, and don't mean I have any sort of index as to where any undead or poor unfortunate soul who's been forced back may or may not be. Both of you make me a notice roll. Yeah, Joan, nothing really clocks for you. Cornelius, this hard drinker, right? I mean, this is barely anything, right? But this hard drinker, it started drinking since that question, started drinking even more than he has regularly. And like, he's always been sloppy about it. He's even sloppier about it now. He only about half of it's getting in his mouth. Pretty gross.
And Joan, you were just asking about if he knows where they come from, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think he'll just under the table lightly tap his heel against like yours so that you can to like have to get your little attention, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Not that I know how to press that, but if you can think of something.
I think I missed what was like the bit of information you got.
He's gotten more anxious, it would appear, after asking that question.
Yeah, after asking about if he has any leads on your boy Donnie, he's drinking more heavily, more enthusiastically.
I'm sure you can understand the plot of a poor mother that's trying to cling on to every little bit of her family she can. You know how important community is and family, and I hate to think of him out there just on his own. And are you sure you don't have any idea? Trying to really lay it on thick here.
Go ahead and make me a persuasion roll.
I get free rerolls on these.
Mhm.
Oof.
I can pay for rerolls also. 5 it is.
Okay. Morris pauses and says, well, I am sorry, Joan. I wish I had more information that I could tell you. But I am sure, even in this brief time since I have met you, I am sure that any boy you raised would have community of his own and would not be alone, even in an unfortunate endeavor such as this. Takes a long pull from his bottle, and then, with a different tone, say, y'all ain't ripped into your steak tartare. That's some fancy stuff. It's French, I think, or English, or it's from overseas.
I'm vegetarian. Apologies.
Oh,
And you know, Catholics, Lent.
Oh, Cornelius is lying.
Me too. It's July.
yeah. Well, it's August, but I
forgot what
like
season it was.
even as a non-Catholic, I'm pretty sure Lent does not apply in August. He goes, well, suit
Not 'cause we're, like,
yourselves.
close.
Suit yourselves, I guess. And with his left hand, he puts it on the edge of your plate, Joan, and pulls it to him. With his right hand, with a leather glove on, he just reaches into the steak tartare and takes a big hunk and puts
Yeah,
it to his
yes,
mouth.
yep.
And it's
That's
bits of it are dropping down his chin. I'm telling you, it's delicious.
wow.
I wanted to ask, what is the smell of this building like?
Awful.
Okay.
This place
Okay.
smells, it smells like death and rotting meat. I mean, it's a house filled with undead. It's
Yeah.
a house filled with zombies. It's awful.
How clean did that ground beef look before it had a hand in it?
I mean, before it had a hand in it, it looked pristine. It looked like a high quality steak tartare. You
Okay.
know, it looked like someone took care in preparing it.
Joan, do you have anything else you want to ask him about?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, in that case,
uh,
yeah, go
would
for it.
you mind? Would you mind if we maybe met some of the folks you have around here? That way, we have a better idea of the kind of community that's in
Well,
Duval's Bluff.
no, I hear you. Normally, I'd say yes. I don't think now's the best time. Let me show you why. He goes through this door here. Come on, follow me. I'll give you a heads up as to why.
Sure thing.
I'll drag you through there. Looks like I'm blocking
Okay,
it.
thank you.
Joan, I assume you're following.
Mm-hmm.
All right. He opens this door here and invites you to peer into this room. Right. And as you do, you see, I don't know, at least 15, maybe more of these undead, and they are ripping into a cow carcass.
Oh.
Right. And they are going to town on it. One of
Never
them
mind.
actually starts to shamble towards the door. Like he sees both of you and starts to shamble towards the door in something very reminiscent of the zombies you saw last night. And this guy here actually slams the door in his face. It's like, whoa, Bill, whoa. No, yeah, I think we can get pretty testy around feeding time.
Sure they
Mr.
can.
Emerson, yeah, Mr. Emerson's like, I think you understand. So maybe we can arrange a meeting a little later. Maybe after your work is done.
Reasonable. He's blanched and sick looking.
All right. Anything else for you?
No.
Okay. Let me, y'all. That's interesting. Oh, I see what the problem is. Y'all head out the front door and are back out on the main drag of Duval's Bluff.
He had more nerve about or about knowing where they came from than I'm comfortable with. It has me really nervous where these things where these things may be coming up from.
Mm-hmm. Me too. I half expected him to try to shove us into a closet and turn us.
I'd be lying if it didn't cross my mind.
Well, maybe we'll talk to Mr. Duval and a light will be shown on everything. Or not. Here we'll still be.
What about your leads for Donnie? How you feel?
I feel like I know a lot more, but I'm not any closer.
You say he's got a passenger, is that right?
Uh, seems like what I've gathered.
Is that different from how you interact with the spirits?
Well, I mean, I set the rules. I invite the spirit into, and they follow the rules, and then they're expelled at the right time. This is what happened to Donnie. Sounds more like having the carriage stolen, and it's moving too fast for you to get yourself out of it, and he's just in there riding along while something else is driving.
And you don't ever feel like someone else is driving.
No, just that they're sitting on the carriage with me, helping me steer it the way I want to.
That's at least good to hear, and I think will be informative if we're ever crossing paths with Donnie.
Mhm.
Is it short for Donovan?
Donald,
Wow.
I guess it's at least unlikely, I believe, that Donald is there with Duvall, or sorry, they're with Emerson in the whole group in there. But I guess he wouldn't really know one way or another.
Yeah, I'd say that's
Right.
correct. Anything else our in-town crew would like to do or ask or converse about during the day here?
If Joan's okay with it, I'd tell the Becketts about what we learned, even though it's not like a whole lot. Just say where we went and
Yeah.
what happened. Including the cow.
Okay.
So they're not all, I suppose born is not the right word, but when they come back, there's a period of adjustment for them.
A bit of feral nature.
I mean that, and I mean it's no stranger to eh, creatures that get dangerous around feeding times.
But that should be I think Abigail's right. That's an odd and interesting and important thing to know. If they don't really always act like people, and they could be. I mean, one of them came at us.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely a threat to the safety of the uh, living, heart-beating folk.
Right.
Well, it also suggests that wherever they come from, since there have been no, at least we haven't heard of any attacks by feral zombies upon the townsfolk, it would speak to Mr. Emerson either acquiring them before either immediately after their
Raised?
animation, reanimation, or it would
Excavated?
mean that he is in fact doing so within his house, and they never, or his grounds rather, not in his house, and they never have a chance to threaten the town before they are found, are seen, are well, before the adjustment that makes them into the individuals we have actually spoken to, as opposed to ravenously eating a cow and attacking individuals. Something to put away for later, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Abigail, you ever work with creatures like this before?
With animated dead, I mean,
Right.
I did spend a significant amount of time with Hellstrom Industries trying to bring the dead back. Yes. Now,
Eh,
most of my individuals were alive and I was trying to stave off death or bring them back immediately after their death, as opposed to them coming out of the ground.
But no such work with something already dead than walking.
No. Hellstrom, we were more interested in well, I mean, I suppose that was our goal, to bring back the dead, but not in that particular state. You understand? Not a
Right, living.
yes, not a shambling thing, but rather a fully, well, closer to what they become here, I suppose.
Are you thinking? I mean, it would appear to be a magical phenomenon, but do you think that it's given them actual independence, or maybe just a fake version of that? They don't remember their names.
They don't remember their names. They don't seem to remember anything of their lives before, but at the very least, our recently departed sheriff was well liked enough among the town to be voted in a sheriff. So even if they can't remember who they were certainly someone new. I don't know that the gruff personality of the ones that we actually fought, the ones that we actually had an argument with, but I mean, I don't know if that's the more common nature of them. I would very much like to understand how they are coming back, but I don't know that that is in the cards, as it were.
All right. Let's check in on our ramblers and see what they've rambled their way into. Let's see here. Oni and Sean. You ride up. Do both of you have vision?
Yes.
Right. You ride up, and this is what you see.
Hitch the horses.
They're
Take a
both
few
for you right
steps.
there. Yeah.
Take a few steps up onto the platform.
Mhm.
Hello?
There is no answer.
Seems like no one's home. Maybe private is real private.
Shit, maybe.
Walk up to a window, take a peek in.
Yeah, you see a little bit of disrepair and disorganization. There's a couple unattended bags. I'd say it's even more sparse than it looks like in this picture, but there's a couple lying around, but no signs of anybody.
Turn my head over to Franklin. What do you think? Abandoned?
Hell, shit, it looks like it.
I'll step up to the door and then gesture for Franklin after you, sir.
All right. Oh, the door unlocked.
Yeah, walk on in.
Hey, that's good. Let's see. It don't seem like anybody's in there.
Hmm. How long does it go? Does it look like? Does it look like anybody has been here?
Make me a notice roll.
Notice. I'm noticing.
I would say you notice that it is dusty with no footprints other than yours and Franklin's in the dust. But there are no cobwebs to be seen.
Is this
No.
door open right here?
It does not. You can either try and climb through the gate here, or if you go out, you might be able to find a way. You can. There's a door here, right? If you head out, you might be able to get in.
I don't think
Yeah.
anyone's been here in a long time, Zane.
Shit, that makes it easy for us. We can just look around here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and
You
look
can see
for
a
this
door here. I mean, this is just
Oh.
another like ticketing gate, but you can see a door here.
Is the door open?
Yeah, you can go ahead in.
Woo! Don't start scrounging through anything back here.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even have to roll for it. You can see the safe's open. There's nothing in it. There's a couple like random papers.
Okay, man.
Take a walk off the platform, step out into the rails, kind of, look down one end, turn, look up the other end of it. Aside from this spot, are there other locations like bluffs or lookouts nearby?
Not that you can see with the naked eye. I mean, it's safe to assume that if you were to ride or if you were to take a detour and just ride alongside the tracks, for a bit, I'm sure that, we're in Arkansas, so it's not like super hilly country, but I'm sure there's a spot where there's like a bend with some cover, right? Or it does at some point this does pass over the White River, so there's a bridge at some point. But from your perspective where you are now, it just sort of looks like generally open plains and this track, and that's about it.
Stepping up off the track onto the platform, look at Franklin and say, well, looks like the only place to get a hold on things is here. Likely the train stops directly here, and whoever is here to receive it takes what's coming, and then it moves on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I see. That's why I don't want to do it here. It's just like I don't know. Have you seen down there? You seen anyway? It's like any turns down there somewhere where they can slow down.
I didn't see nothing. We could look, but we'd be taking up a lot of time. Probably won't make it back in time tonight if we do go looking. But this isn't so bad. Figure we ain't gonna be surprised about it. I mean, think if you're coming here to pick up business as usual, they're likely all standing here, and then we could make our way through or around the walls.
It's a problem is when we do it here, it's a chance that we will have to fight them, right? Like, cause they coming here, we trying to take the money. That's
I think we maybe get a surprise on them anyhow. I mean, they ain't gonna be thinking anyone's crazy enough to do this.
I mean, for good reason. Shit, it's more of them. They know what they coming for. They know what they want.
Hmm. Now, this, doing this, I mean, we maybe make an enemy or two with, that gang. We taking their money. They might see it that way.
Yeah. I'm gonna be real. I don't care about having a couple of enemies with these people.
I know you don't, but the others might.
Well, shit. Let's see. If people want money, we're not working for it. So that's how we're gonna get it if we're gonna do it.
Hmm. It's risky.
Hey, that's a risky lifestyle we picked here. We ain't picking an honest one.
You know, I don't want to do it, but I had a crazy idea.
What's the idea?
I pull out 3 sticks of dynamite.
There's no fucking way. Are you
I mean,
okay?
I'm just saying we shouldn't do this, but we're here, and imagine if we preset this, right, and then, well,
I mean, shit. Well, we could do that's a good idea. I mean, it's just that
it's a bad idea, Franklin. I mean, people gonna get really hurt. We could get hurt.
shit. A lot of people get hurt doing this shit. It's not like it's some like soft thing. It's not like we borrowing the money. Shit, we're stealing it from.
I
I
know, I
mean,
know. It ain't like the hellhounds. These folk. Well, actually, I don't know if they're skinning people or not. I suppose.
it don't see. That's the problem. You thinking about it. It doesn't matter. It's either them or us. You can't
Well,
try to be Mr. Good Guy and then rob them.
I mean, isn't that what Robin Hood did? I mean, he was the hero.
Robin Hood was still stealing. I don't. It doesn't matter if it was your intention. You still stole.
Well, I know that. I'm just saying that, it does matter. There's more than just them or us.
Okay. Who?
I'm just saying this is excessive, right?
Hey, I tried to find a way that we can do this before we get to them. But if we go do it here, most 9 out of 10 times, we're about to kill every single one of them to take this money.
All right. Well, I mean, you got a better idea? How do we do it without anyone getting hurt?
Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. Unless we trick them, number one, to give us the money. Number two, we convince them that someone else took the money. If you want to blame it on these other boys, I'm down. Say it was the say it was the zombie people stole it, and then they go back to being in a normal state. I guess.
Mm. This whole thing is tricky.
Hey, look, right. We're just coming here to profit right now at this point. We need the money. We're gonna take the money. That's all that matters. Everybody else in it, they knew what they signed up for. This is just their lifestyle here now.
Yeah, I suppose. But we don't actually need the money. I mean, we're all doing all right.
No, we for sure need the money. I like
Well, I mean, I was kind of exaggerating, joking when I said we're all poor. I mean, we each got about $100, I wager.
we all he's got about $100, but we're gonna need more money.
Yeah. No, that is right.
Yeah,
The
we
job's
can't.
been paying, but not paying big. We need something big.
Hell yeah, everybody needs more money. That's not.
All right, I'm thinking this. I'm already partial to the Emerson side, but if this Duvall fella turns out to be a real piece of work, you know what I mean? Then I won't feel so bad about doing all this bit. Then it will be like Robin Hood.
Hey Thomas, we're not Robin Hood.
No, we're not.
Right. If the guy is not a complete jackass, we can definitely consider it. But right now, this is looking like the best option, in my opinion.
Who's Little John? You or me?
Can you say that one more time?
Who's Little John? You or me?
Little John.
Yeah.
It-
Isn't that the other fella's name? And Robin Hood.
I have no idea, man. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Oh, all right. Then I'll put it this way: who's Robin Hood between the two of us?
But between the two of us, who's Robin
Yeah.
Hood? I don't know, man. I guess it's me. Is that I just want to let it be known. I just said we weren't Robin Hood. We're kind of just thieves here. We're kinda thieves.
I know. Yeah, I could be Little John. That's all right.
You know what we can be? We can be Don Quixote. We can be Don Quixote. Yeah. You be Don Quixote. I'm gonna be the other guy. I forgot to. It's been a while
Zorro.
since I read that. Yeah, no, Zora.
Poncho.
Yeah, Poncho.
All right. I heard it both ways before.
Yeah, that's it. Sancho, not Poncho.
Santa.
I mixed his two names into one.
I haven't read the book in a while. Don't get me wrong if I forgot the name of the character.
All right. What about we plant one stick just in cases?
How about we do? If we're gonna do the dynamite, let's do all three. So it'll be less bullets coming our way. So we just get a whole bunch of them gone.
All right. Well, I ain't got the line and plunger like I just got the sticks. Where are you thinking of putting them?
Oh man, uh, I think a good idea. Actually, we could place it under our feet here. Most
Under
likely,
the.
there. Yeah,
How are we gonna light them? Set them off.
you gotta use the plunger anyway.
Well, you could shoot it, or you could just, just light it yourself.
Um, we could totally shoot it, but
What if? Imagine this: the tables are turned. Your back is against the wall. You're scrambling. What's that? You look down. It's the dynamite. all you got to do is ask for one last cigarette.
Why would? What? What are you talking about, man? Have you robbed people before?
No, I've just been reading the Tatler a lot.
Hey, stop that shit. Stop that shit. They gonna get you murdered this way. Or we can place it. We can place it inside of here and blows this whole side out. Any of them caught right here, most likely during the unloading and loading process. We can maximize our damage as we have people come up from the sides here or here.
Hmm. Oh, here's an idea. How about this? We put some of the dynamite in one of these here luggage bags, right? And then we know which bag is dangerous, and we can just, who's going to suspect? You know, you just light it and then toss a bag at them.
Was I just don't believe that they would expect that. Honestly, if we keep the bag right here, give it some extra slack, we can roll it on down here and look like everything does normal.
Hmm. You know, because I don't have the line is the real problem. So we can put dynamite somewhere.
You could
Oh,
just throw
that's
some dynamite on the ground and leave it there.
I think just just leave some dynamite hanger.
This is like
Um,
setting up a trap in the woods and then just not coming back to it and being like, "Oh, that'll
Yeah.
be fun for someone later."
I know. I know. It really is.
It's just like, yeah,
Um,
you know what'll be really cool when some fucking kid is hanging out next to the railroad tracks and finds some fucking dynamite.
Come on,
Oh,
dude.
really?
It's
Some leak.
18 right. It's 1894 and you're a 12-year-old and you find some half abandoned train station and find a stick of dynamite. That's Christmas in August, baby.
Oh boy.
Fair,
good
except
times.
that dynamite's gonna be leaky as fuck by the time they find it.
You know,
That's not gonna be good.
ripe, I think they call it.
having a ripe dynamite just doesn't sound all that good.
Okay, you thinking if we're kind of trying to ambush people, right? I like the idea of it being in the office, but like it still means you got to get to it somehow, you know. And even out here, right? It's like you either light it or have to get to it somehow. Um, I think
Also,
on
we're
the
gonna have to
plunger-
wire it tomorrow. Like wherever you leave it, it's just dynamite we don't have for a while until tomorrow.
Well,
when
Yeah.
we'll get it again.
I'll give you one piece of information that you've definitely been told, right? In addition to it being tomorrow, right? You've been told that every time this shipment is made, right? It's made in the dead of night.
You know, it'll
You know,
be
you-
good for getting the nearby town involved. Dynamite.
If you've got a good place to place them, then now is not a bad time. But besides that, I think it sounds like there might be time to place it when we have the wire later.
Potentially, yeah.
we gotta get the spool for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I feel like you making use of the dynamite, which is a bad idea. In this scenario, I don't think we have the right we don't have the equipment necessary to really set off what we would want, you know, which is they're in danger, we're not in danger, but because we don't have the plunger and all that to set up now, it'd be this setting it anywhere. It would be the same as having to light it and throw it at them in the first place, you know, which I would just punch them if I was that close. You know? Let's hold on to the dynamite.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't.
Plan
I-
B.
We could just stick them up and just hope they just go along with that. That's also a good option.
Yeah. I mean, what's stopping us from wearing masks?
I don't know. What is stopping you guys from wearing masks?
Right? I mean, we don't know. Like, they don't have to know it's us.
Motherfucker. God damn it.
The Bobcat could come out, and I think we have us a successful robbery.
Oh, I thought you meant right now, but
Oh
them,
no,
yeah.
no, no, not right now.
Yeah, Thomas, could you ride on ahead? Franklin just needs a little personal Bobcat time.
Okay, now that's weird.
Okay, Bobcat got to come out. You got to do.
Are you giving yourself a pep talk in there?
It's not giving Green Goblin like Willem Dafoe talking to himself in a fucking like mirrored surface.
I'm not giving myself a pep talk. I'm talking to the realest person I know.
Is that the
Kill the
Bobcat?
Spider-Man.
All right, we got to lay the land. Let's head back, make it in time for whatever tonight's going to be.
I'll stick my head out the side of the door. I hear you. I hear you. Just give me one more minute.
I give you all the time you need.
What are you up to, Franklin?
He just we just sitting in the chair, holding Bobcat mask. Gonna be taking up the mantle for a sign of evil's left in my past. But Bobcat needs to do what the Bobcat must do. Not be poor anymore. Okay. And like breaking a huddle by himself.
Mm-hmm.
You, you ever see the athletes cross their heart, point, kiss their finger, point to the sky?
You just gently kiss this burlap sack mask that you've been talking to in your lap. You give it a
Yep.
gentle little.
Good Lord.
This
Alright,
is
I'm
fuck.
ready to
Is
go.
this? Hold on. Is this mask cursed? Has this been cursed this whole time? Did you just not tell us?
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Okay, so the mask is cursed.
Sometimes the DM doesn't have to write a curse for the curse to be very palpable.
All right, team. You heading back to Duval's Bluff?
Yes, we are.
All right. Let's call an intermission there. And we will return in about 15 minutes. How's that sound for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Fantastic. before we head just to the events of the evening, I will give you all an opportunity to discuss whatever events you occurred during the day. If you feel there needs to be any additional discussion or decisions made, now would be the time or a time that you can do that.
Thomas will share, what they saw.
Mhm.
That it was a train platform with like a little kind of office waiting area. It
Mhm.
seemed long abandoned, and that were we to do a robbery there, it's out in the middle of nowhere. Stealth would be our best approach to try to catch people by surprise, but um, other than that, there really isn't much to say. There wasn't anything really discovered out there.
And I think we can fill you in with what Joan and I learned as well. But besides that, dinner time?
All right. Sounds like it is 9 p.m. and
Yeah.
you
Dinner
approach.
time.
We all get freshened up, right? It's because it's a dinner invitation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't own a second pair of clothes, so
No, none of us really do, but you
Yeah.
know what we mean.
yeah, don't worry. I wash my neck.
Yeah. I
That
use
makes
the
a
handkerchief
difference.
and wipe my face.
Right,
Yeah.
Oh,
We powder Thomas.
right.
Ah!
little
Kato.
little wax, little buff. Yeah, California King. That's right.
All right. Yeah, y'all find yourselves having climbed the steps to the front porch of the palatial Duval Manor.
Who's leading the charge for us?
I can do it if no one else wants to. Knock right on the door.
Yeah.
Thank you.
One of these guys back here opens the door and then goes back clearly to what is his post. In the center of this room, you see a pretty large statue in front of this staircase. The statue looks like that.
Kind of fierce.
What the hell is this?
Is there like a
The
plaque or anything?
there is not. These let's see. This guy here, the cautious agent, says, "Welcome. Mr. Duval will be joining you shortly. Why don't you all head into the dining room?" Walks over and opens that door. It is beautiful in here. What you notice, right, once you are inside, not difficult to notice, and actually, you probably notice as you walked up, the windows appear to all be painted over. Several of them have bullet holes in them. And then once you enter, you can see from the inside that in addition to being painted over, there is now most of the windows, all of the windows in this room are boarded up as well.
Okay.
Would you like me to move all y'all into the dining room? Or are you
I'm back.
all right?
Oh.
Oh shit! You closed the door.
I think it's heavy on the hinges. Someone I'll hold it open.
The place is just so goddamn fancy. I just never.
Anybody need a hand getting to the dining room? I know it can be
Yeah,
Right
tricky.
through
There you go.
here.
Yeah.
I broke briefly, but I got there.
Oh, I don't. I'm gonna be honest. I just don't like how this whole like the seating arrangements are set up.
And you see there are agents in the corner of this room as well.
Yep.
Don't all move you ever.
Is agents what you're just saying for the hired folks here?
Yes. I mean,
Okay.
these are clearly it's not like a uniform like a military uniform, but they all are wearing the same thing as opposed to the humans that you saw like in the saloon. They all have black pants, black overcoats, white shirts, black hats. And at least you don't know what other weaponry they may have on them, but at a minimum, right, they each have a rifle on them.
I tip my hat to them as we're in.
They tip their hats back. And this guy up here, probably closest to you, says, "Hey, I know it's a little weird, but just pretend like we're not here."
I mean,
That's just hard. That's just a hard ask right there.
Look,
Yeah, now-
he's like, I mean, he clearly feels for you, but he's like, look, you know, this is my job. I got to be here and do this, but you know, even knowing that you can't, I mean, you can see it in his face. Like, even knowing that you can't, he's like, we want you to be as comfortable as possible, in large part because our boss pays us to make sure that is in fact the case. You know, that you're safe and that you can be as comfortable as possible. Obviously, we've got to ensure everybody's safety, so we can't just abandon the room, right? But
yeah, I mean, now you said it though, I'm gonna be looking at you constantly.
well, I understand.
Are there
but,
for you in every room?
Well, no, I don't believe so. In fact, if I remember the assignments, the foyer that you just came from, there was only 2 of us in there.
But surely there's one of you in every single room and hallway. Otherwise, how could you actually declare a place safe?
It seems clear that you have not worked security before, sir.
Suppose
I
not.
pretended to once.
Oh my god!
This guy
You know,
over here says, "Excuse me," and with that, this door opens up, and this guy walks in, and he, who am I missing? Oh no, he looks around a little bit, and it's like, okay, I guess I'll just sit sort of at the head of the table here, right? And our friend, who I believe you've seen before, nope, that's the wrong button. Introduces himself. He walks in addition to this sort of look, right? He's got it looks like he might be carrying like a book or a platform or something, right? Or a pillow, right? In his right hand he clearly walks in, it's palm up, but the whole thing is covered with a red silk scarf. And he says, "Good evening. Thank you for accepting my invitation. I know it is a bit unusual. I wanted to start our relationship off correctly. So I brought a little gift. And he puts this object down on the table and pulls the red scarf of it. And on a red pillow sits a very familiar Colt revolver. And he slides it towards you, Franklin.
Is this? I know this ain't who I think it is.
Who?
It is definitely Darla.
Let's see.
Darla.
I understand you lost it in the game of chance, and fortunately, you lost it in a game of chance to someone in my employ. I explained how important it was to me that we start things off well, and I made arrangements with that individual, and am happy to return your property to you. I will say he was very loath to let it go, as he had witnessed great feats with it in defending yourselves against some of Mr. Emerson's creatures. And my man thought that it was imbued with mythic power. Whether or not that is the case, I'm sure you and I can agree that it is almost certainly due to the skill of the user. And he tips his cap to you.
Thank you. Too. Yeah. Hey, I really appreciate the sentiment, but I lost it fair and square. I don't feel like I deserve to have it.
Oh no, I must disagree with you. I am hopefully getting something much more valuable for it, which is an open mind for our conversation. If I can have that from you and your friends, then this gesture, I am certainly getting the better end of the deal. Bargain, I believe. If you don't mind me asking, I know you've spoken with Mr. Emerson already. What has he told you?
Only that the undead folks around here rise and need somewhere to go, and he's been able to manage them in a way that has been more civil than or handling some of the unexpected nature of some of them better than the rest of the world might be. But that's nearly it.
Nothing about the conflict between he and I?
Not at least as to the origins of it, or uh, why it is still ongoing. He did tell us a little bit about his position with the sheriff, but that was all.
And what brought you all to town in the first place? We don't get many strangers in Duval's Bluff these days.
We're actually asking after Miss Avery Sutton. We heard she was in the area some time ago looking for something.
Oh, yes, she certainly was. I haven't heard that name or from her in quite a while, but we'll get to that tale soon enough. Do you know what it is you're looking for, or just that uh, Miss Sutton was looking for something, so now you're looking for it too?
Mostly that. I think if we were able to ever find Miss Avery Sutton, there might be questions we could ask, but
Hmm.
immediately, this is the only lead we have as to her whereabouts.
And why are you concerned about Miss Sutton's whereabouts?
We've been asked to be concerned with them.
I see. Caution. Wise, given the circumstances. Um,
What are
well,
them circumstances?
why don't we get started with dinner? And as we do, I'll tell you all a little story. Feel free to inquire along the way. Um, he looks back at one of the agents and just gives a little nod. Um, the agent just sort of ducks out in the hallway, and like 2 minutes later, um, silver trays, fancy china, actual silverware, right? All brought in, 6 plates, one for each of you, right? The Mr. Duvall snaps his fingers, and the agents actually all walk over, right? Um, take an extra spoon off of the table. Each one of them takes an extra spoon off of the table, and each of them sort of basically they go around to your soup and they take a spoonful of soup and slurp it, and then go back to their corners. Um, and Duvall's like, just so you don't think anything funny is going on, I do want you to eat and enjoy yourself. And he looks at you, Thomas, and says, I apologize. I did not know what to prepare, so I just did as I would for the rest of the guests. I hope you'll forgive me. Is there anything that I can get for you?
Well, actually, I mean, to be honest, you're trying not to make it strange is strange. I wasn't thinking anything, but now I'm thinking you've poisoned these meals.
Well, you can sit and watch my agents, and I thought it would be more strange if you were just had food placed in front of you, and I rambled on about what's going on in the town, and the agents just sat and watched. I didn't want you to think that you were being forced to eat, or that um, this food was in any way tampered with, and I thought it would give you some sense that the food, at least, is safe. If
Er,
that's not the case, I won't be offended. I understand this is strange. Again, I do hope that you will keep an open mind, and perhaps by um, the end of our conversation, you'll feel a little bit more comfortable in my presence and with the precautions that I take here. Again,
Sort
is
of a
there anything that I can get for you, Thomas?
sort of a paranoid fella, aren't you?
Yeah, I think that is fair to say.
Well, looks like you got troubles of your own here. Bullet holes in the windows and all.
Mm,
Suppose I can't think too much of it.
I do have trouble here. I have been troubled for quite some time, and I do hope and have held out hope for some time that this town and what is in this town will ease my mind a bit. And it is a coincidence, I guess, that what brought you to town, namely looking for Miss Sutton and perhaps what she was looking for, is in fact what brought Morris Emerson to town about 10 years ago. You see, well, Miss Sutton and I, we once had a much more friendly working agreement. You see, are any of you familiar with the old Greek myth of Orpheus and Eurydice, his wife?
Mhm.
Of course.
Well,
I have academics, right? No, I don't. I have science. Never mind. It's like the exact opposite skill.
Yeah, and he looks around and he's like, I only ask because I didn't mean to bore you if you are already familiar with it. But I will be brief. As the myth goes, Orpheus was a great musician, and his wife died and was sent to Hades. Orpheus used his lyre to play such a beautiful song that he made his way into Hades and convinced the powers that be to let him leave with his wife, hence rescuing Eurydice from Hades itself and bringing her back to the living world. There was one contingency, however. It was that Orpheus could not look back at his wife on this journey and had to remain looking forward and playing his lyre. And if he could not follow that simple rule, his wife would be returned to Hades and his lyre removed from his possession so that he may not repeat the task. But poor Orpheus, as they almost completed their journey, thought he would sneak a peek in a reflection to make sure that his Eurydice was still with him. And he looked back just to see her disappear as she was brought back to Hades. And the harp, the lyre, disappeared from his grip, never to see his wife or the lyre again. Well, it is a story. It not at all unlike the story of Lot, quite frankly, but it rang true enough that for many years, Miss Sutton had been after this mythical item, thinking that it could not just return things from the hunting grounds, but keep them, bind them here. Well, that's where she enlisted me. She found it was somewhere in this area, knew that these were the homes of my family, that no one knew the area better than I did, and enlisted me to help her find it. And find it, or some of it, we did. It is under the town itself. We have dug out a substantial portion of it and found what little there is left, or at least left in this location, a single string from a lyre or a harp or whatever. While still interested, Miss Sutton has turned her attention to a larger fragment of said lyre, and was still involved and still interested till Mr. Emerson showed up in town. Now, I don't know what Mr. Emerson has told you about himself or his thrall, but I assure you, he wants this string, and he wants it to save his own soul. For you see, if he has not told you already, his gang is not the only bit of undead that is walking around at the Emerson Ranch. Poor Morris himself is harrowed. He died in an extracurricular activity while he was AWOL from the Confederate Army. But his death, though true, did not take as a greater Manitou took residence in his body before his soul departed and brought him back. What purposes the Manitou has, it's hard to say. But Morris, well, he's not too happy with the situation. How he got wind of it, I do not know, but he has heard of this string from Orpheus's lyre, and that it is believed that wearing it as a piercing of some sort, lacing it through one's body, will keep an existing illness or infection or inhabitation in stasis, meaning it wouldn't bring him back to life, but he wouldn't have to worry any longer about the Manitou taking over. Similarly, if one were to have a fatal illness, using said string, it is believed, would keep that in stasis, wouldn't cure anyone of anything, but so long as this string were laced through the flesh in some way, it would keep that individual in the state they were when they laced it. Now, it is not its magic does not make one immortal, and wounds that are incurred or illnesses begotten once this is installed still have their normal effect, but it can, for certain individuals, keep things at bay. He looks around. Any questions as of yet?
How did you said it was buried under the city? How did you find it?
Oh, well. The long story of it is quite complicated and rather boring, and involves a significant number of occultists and false starts, and both bad and good luck. But the short answer is, after all of that, or as part of all of that, we dug and continued to dig. But we will get to that in a moment. And he makes a gesture at one of the agents. People come in, take the soup bowls away, whether they've been touched or not, right? And bring in plates of food, roast meats, vegetables, whatnot. The agents take a step forward as if they were going to taste all the food again. And Christophe Duval just holds his hand up, and they all walk back to their corners, and he sort of nods at you, Thomas. And then he continues. You see, Mr. Emerson is not at all the well-meaning, good-natured philanthropist that he claims to be. He is harrowed. His soul is damned. He reeks of death. It's why he douses himself in alcohol all the time to try and hide that smell. But it is not only unsuccessful, but it is boorish and unbecoming. But he and I are locked in competition to retrieve that item, because he is not the only one who has a vested interest in finding it. He nods at one of the agents. They gesture outside the door, and he says, I have my own affliction that I am now, for the past 30 years, 20 years, have desperately been trying to correct. You see, I am also undead, but I am not a zombie like Mr. Emerson or his clan, right? And this dude walks in, and he just drapes an arm over Christophe Duval's shoulder, palm up, right? And Mr. Duval turns around and sinks his teeth into this guy's wrist. Right? And he's sucking some blood for, I don't know, 15, 30 seconds, right? And wipes his mouth as he withdraws, has a red silk pocket square that he wipes his mouth with, drops it into his lap, nods at this individual, who then leaves and says, I have been in this state for at least 100 years, 120, I believe. I was a German immigrant to this country and fought for this country in the Revolutionary War. A German conscript for the British Army massacred my unit in the middle of the night. And when I cried out for mercy in my native German, he gave it to me. But it took this form, and he turned me into a vampire. I am, as vampires go, a lucky one. I, much like Mr. Emerson, have been inhabited by a greater Manitou, which means I keep some piece of my soul, and I can remember my life beforehand. That is not true of all that are turned. The Walking Dead that make up Emerson's gang, they are inhabited by lesser Manitous, which means they are truly gone. Their souls departed, never to return to their bodies. They are but husks inhabited by lesser Manitous. And when they are killed, they are returned to the hunting grounds. And for them, a string from Orpheus's lyre will do no good. And for me, for 80-some years, the string would do no good, for this land was inhospitable to me and my type. What good would it do? Any sightings of me in public doing anything like I have just done in front of all of you would mean certain death. Oh, but these last 20 years, something has changed in this land. You've seen it. We're all aware of it. And while we are not accepted, we are also not killed on sight. And so I began to dream. I want that lyre string. I want to lace it through my chest in hopes that I can once again go out in the sunlight. Walk amongst you during the day. Ideally, if I can do that, I won't have to pay these fine individuals to watch my property during the day where I can't do anything about it. So, Mr. Emerson and I want the same thing. In fact, we want the same thing as Miss Sutton, although I think Miss Sutton's patience has worn thin, and she has more than likely moved on to better opportunities. But why we want it is what's different and what you need to understand. This is my home. I want to enjoy it. I want to go out and see it in the sunlight, right? I don't want to see it destroyed. Mr. Emerson wants that string so that he can cease fighting with his Manitou and he can fuck off to do whatever he wants, probably seek revenge on whatever party he was with when he got killed in the first place. And when he does that, he will leave that thrall here, take whatever soothing influence he has along with him, and then there will just be left an undead horde to rage over this town.
You've made mention of a lot of Manitou in this city.
Mhm.
Are you aware of others besides yourself, Emerson, and the lessers that are under his influence?
Other Manitous?
He'll nod.
Well, I mean, you're staying at the inn and lost this gun in the saloon. Clearly, you've met the dealer.
we we'll need time to confer in private, uh, if that is
Certainly,
understood.
Oh, absolutely. Would you like that now, or would you like more information first?
I have a question before you go. What was oh shoot, what's her name? Not Angel.
Avery Sutton?
Avery.
Avery Sutton. What was when she was working with you? What did Avery Sutton say she wanted this lyre string for?
Oh, I
What
believe it.
purpose?
I believe she wants as many of the strings as ideally she wanted the entire lyre. That's what she thought was under here, or
Yeah,
thought that I could
all of
find.
that was cut out. I'm sorry.
Okay, so yeah, no problem. She wants the entire lyre, right? She wants all of the strings. I think that she believes that with all of the strings, she can call something massive from the hunting grounds and keep it here.
How many does she have?
I do not know. I believe, and to be clear, it's not really a known thing. There are many stories about the lyre. Some say that it had 7 strings, some 17, some as many as 30 or 35. So it's
The
not exactly a known number. She wants as many as she can get. And even when we found that, um, even when we found that there was only one string, she was still interested and involved, and we were working on getting it. But then, when Mr. Emerson showed up and became a rather formidable opposing force, um, and this decade-long standoff has gone on, she eventually lost interest and decided that her resources were better spent elsewhere.
Do you she tell you where it was she was looking next?
She did not.
So you're a vampire,
That I am.
and vampires and zombies don't get along?
Oh, no, not at all. You'd think it would. You'd think it would go a little more smoothly, but they can't feed off us. We can't feed off them. We are in competition for what we can feed off of. When we feed, it ruins the meat for them. When they feed, it ruins the blood for us. And I want to be clear, I spent many years, the better part of a century, feeding on humans and throwing away their husks like one throws away chicken bones. But since I have discovered this item and have hope to once again rejoining society in any way, shape, or form, I have reformed my ways. I have currently 4 individuals, all here voluntarily, free to come and go as they like, with one minor exception, which I'll explain in a bit. But I feed just like I did this evening. I am sure to leave all of them with enough blood that in the moment they may be weakened, but it neither turns them nor is enough to even make them ill, much less kill them. It is the best I can do given my circumstance. Now, In a perfect world, this lyre string would hold all of my vampirism in stasis. But that may be too much to ask for. Just being able to see the sun would be enough. And so I have adjusted and am committed to doing what I can to be part of a society that may not welcome me with open arms, but also doesn't throw us out the front door either. And he's looking at you when he says us, Thomas.
Some no sunlight. Stake through the heart? Is that real?
Yes. No sunlight, stake through the heart. For those of us lucky enough to have some portion of our original soul intact. For those lesser vampires inhabited by lesser Manitous, anything through the heart will do.
What about garlic and crosses and the like? Friendly, you got a
I didn't hear the end of that. What was that?
just asking if you had a cross on you.
I mean, I got one here.
Please,
holds up the glove.
please don't. Please, under the table.
Yeah. I don't got
What's
like
his
one
reaction
hanging around.
to
It's like if someone shined a flashlight in your eyes. Like, you know, it's not, he doesn't start melting or anything, but it's clearly like painful and not an enjoyable experience. But even under that circumstance, he is very polite and is like, no, please, that's ungood. I mean, he's certainly more reasonable and polite about it than the dealer was.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Daniel's never gonna believe this.
If you don't have any more questions, I
mean, I have a lot of questions.
Well, do you want to ask them now, or do you want to talk amongst yourselves first?
I don't know that I'll be able to ask enough of them. You know what I mean?
Well, here's what I propose. Why don't you all talk amongst yourselves? I will, if you promise not to leave this room, I will have the agents all leave as well. And when you say knock on the door as a signal, we will return. And at that point, you can ask me whatever additional questions you may have. And then I thought perhaps you might want to see the dig site and see what's going on down there.
Oh, that could be very interesting, yeah.
Very well. I will leave you to it. He heads out. He heads out. He heads out. He heads out. Oh, actually, I'll put him here. And he heads out. The room is yours.
Well, what do we make of that?
Sounds like a string like that is exactly what I would need to help Donnie.
I was thinking the same thing, Joan. But sounds like that idea is gonna bring us trouble.
I mean, at the very least, that way makes an enemy of everybody here instead of half
Hmm.
of everybody here.
I
Though
very much
I
did
f-
not have zombies versus vampires on
I
my
know.
1884 bingo card.
And like, I was about to make a joke to you, like under my breath. It was like, it's good to see the rich people aren't different depending on what part of the country you're from. And then like the vampire thing happened, and it was too late for that joke.
Mm,
I feel
still a
like it
good
still
one though.
works then.
I
Yeah, I
mean,
feel like it
being
still
in
works.
here is making me nostalgic as hell, or at least it was until the vampire thing.
Ah, how fucking rich were you guys?
Well, like,
Anyway,
yeah,
I gotta say, at first I was like, my first instinct was to, that thing is dangerous, and I was gonna stop it from being dangerous. But the more he kept talking, the more he started making sense. Like,
And as much as I hate to admit it, he at least was making, I think, more sense than Mr. Emerson. Mr. Emerson made a lot of work to obfuscate answers, and we got very clear answers from Mr. Duvall.
The devil you know. Uh, or I guess the devil that will talk to you.
well, knowing
I'll
what we know
always
about
talk to you,
Mr.
Master Cox.
anybody got
knowing
a
what we
beat on
know. Go ahead, Frendel.
what like a Herod means?
It seems
It's
to be a higher
like what
order of
we've
zombie.
it's like what we've described Donnie. It's someone who's died and come back. It's someone who's been to the other side and returned.
Huh. But like the thing's on them enough that you can't make it go away.
I believe they've described it as a greater Manitou, something that's powerful enough that they know who they are. They know who they were before they died, because they have the greater spirit riding along with them, giving them more power, rather than the mindless ones. But they're all herald.
Yeah, I mean, if none of them are human anymore because of they're actually like the thing walking around a body.
Wait, you're saying that each one of them folk is just some creature from the hunting
From the
grounds?
hunting grounds.
in
You-
a human body with
But
In in
parts.
yeah.
Yeah.
It would
In
seem that
addition
at
to being
least
a human body with a human soul trapped to it as well, in a way that, depending on the type of creature, how much that spirit still knows or is able to control anything.
I thought he said at least among not for him's kind or for Mr. Emerson, but for the other ones who come back with no recollection of themselves. Perhaps I misunderstood, but it sounded to me like Mr. Duval said those ones have no trace of their souls left. Their souls are gone.
Yeah, that is what he
That
said.
follows.
That is correct.
That makes sense.
I mean,
But
I
So it
guess
depends
it's
on
a
the
the-
spirit.
Yeah, the greater spirits that seem to possess Mr. Emerson, Mr. Duval, and from the sounds of what you've said, Joan, your son, those retain some portion of their souls, and so can be helped by this this string from this lyre. To hold on to that portion of their soul. We
I
know
just-
what Avery Sutton plans to do now. She plans to bring something back from the hunting grounds, and if what Alberta said, if in her, well, I mean, post her death, if that graveside utterance means anything, it means that whatever Alberta intends to bring back is exceptionally dangerous. Probably devastating for the world as a whole. I've already seen her work with that giant corpse creature.
We could barely handle that thing.
so like, what are the strings for in that then?
She sounds like the more of them you have, the more permanent the affixing to this plane the process is. So I'd think that if she's intent on eventually getting this one once it's properly dug up, I mean, that means she'd come back. But she also knows that there's folks here who want it pretty bad.
See, that's just what I'm thinking, right? Like, he just said she wants it, so he knows that even if he gets it, she's coming back for it sometime, or someone is. I mean, it helps him now, but kind of well, maybe he's prepared. I think she's just letting them do her work for her.
I think I agree with that.
For somebody who knows, like, when you're harrowed, I guess, does it take you over? Or like what is it what does it do for you?
I mean, it very well it varies incredibly depending on the Manitou that is with you or the Loa that
So if it is it like
taking the two that we've
Yeah,
met
how about-
today.
how
One
about
of them's
this?
a vampire, the other.
Occult rolls, faith rolls, weird science rolls, any of that for information about Harrowed. Okay. Yeah, this all coalesces quickly as the four of you discuss it. A Harrowed, right, is an individual who has died. A greater Manitou has inhabited their body and brought it back from the hunting grounds to the world of the living. The Harrowed, or the greater Manitou, and the human soul are locked in a battle while it is back here for control of the body, right? Generally speaking, when they come back, the human soul has the upper hand, right? And so is in control most, if not all of the time. But what the greater Manitou has that the soul doesn't is time. And over time, eventually, the greater Manitou is always going, unless the creature is completely destroyed, the greater Manitou is always going to win and separate the soul from the body, in which case the soul is just dissipates, right? Does not go on to any sort of afterlife. Things that you also know about Harrowed. They have to eat a pound of raw meat or flesh a day. Regular food, cooked food, vegetables, does not give them any sustenance, right? They reek of death. Harrowed that interact with anyone in public do things like soak themselves in alcohol or act like drunkards, right? To explain away why they smell so horrible and why they reek of booze, right? Some of them act like or may become like furriers or trappers or things where they're dealing with guts all the time, right? So it sort of explains that sort of thing away. Harrowed can be very powerful. The Manitou sees it as in their best interest to protect this being, right? And so can bring many powers, right? Similar, in fact, right, to some of the powers that Cornelius can use, right? Not the same, right? But depending on the Manitou, drawing from different areas, right? They do have powers that they can use. The danger is that when they use these powers, unlike Cornelius, when they use these powers, it weakens the defenses of the human soul that is in control of the body, and it makes it more likely that the Manitou will be able to take over completely or for some period of time. It's generally not permanent, at least not initially, right? But that's sort of the cycle of how this thing happens, right? Is that, the greater Manitou brings a human body with a human soul back. The human soul is primarily in control, but because of these new ways that being has to exist, it is more and more difficult to stay under the radar. And when they are discovered, as they almost always are at some point or another, they often rely on the Manitou and its powers to help get them out of it. But in so doing, they alter the balance between the human soul and the greater Manitou. And the more that happens, the more the greater Manitou gains the upper hand until eventually they can take over entirely. Any questions about Harrowed?
This is distinct from a vampire, which is still a body possessed by a Manitou, but is a different result.
Correct. The vampires are a little different than classic vampires in this world, right? In that part of being a vampire is being inhabited by some sort of Manitou. But again, with vampires, there are vampires inhabited by greater Manitous where they keep some part of their human soul and have recollections of their past life. And there are vampires inhabited by lesser Manitous that don't have that and are just bloodthirsty, mindless beings. But to your point, that is different than Harrowed. Harrowed is sort of, at least my understanding, it's a unique take on the sort of zombie trope unique to this setting, whereas the vampires, the greater and lesser Manitou thing is a nice little twist, but other than that, they're sort of more classic vampire-y stuff.
So if the angel we're looking at, or we're chasing after, I guess. I say angel because I don't know. It's a menacing nickname. She's looking for multiple Z strings. She wants to summon something big. Easy to think she's probably she wants something. Like she wants to be a vessel of something, but not be controlled by that something. And the more of it you get, the stronger a thing you can you can find. If one can handle one greater Manitou, which is what at least one of these parties here is thinking, stands to reason multiple could, I don't know, scale up, I guess. All of that is, I guess, tomorrow's problem, because today's problem right now is focused on what to do about this right here, and also our previous conversation with the other party.
You know, I was hoping that it'd be clear. I mean, in some ways it is. I can't be the only one thinking this, that as nice as our current host is, he feeds on the living. And sooner or later, I just don't think he's going to be that polite.
I'm also of the consideration that it's entirely possible that he put in a lot of work to demonstrate trust for us, but still may have been deceptive at dinner. It's a possibility, but I'm inclined to believe him over Emerson. His story is more complete. And maybe it is the case that he's a vampire who may have hunger later, but he's only one instead of the horde of undead that Emerson, if Duval is right, Emerson would abandon and allow to wander this town and then from it.
Well, we can help Emerson and give those people maybe a future. Though people, I don't even know if this is the right word anymore. We could help Mr. Duvall here put an end to whatever's going on with them folk. But I don't know that I like the idea of a vampire walking around in the daylight. Or we screw them both over and take the string for ourselves and get Joan's son back.
I'm with Thomas here. I don't know that we need to get involved in either of these sides. We have a task that is far more crucial than either Mr. Emerson or Mr. Duval's concerns. We know that this person intends to, that Sutton intends to, well, I mean, all but doom the world, it sounds like, summoning a giant thing from the hunting grounds. That, I think, should remain our focus. And if we take this, if we ask for or take this lyre string, we will certainly make enemies of both Emerson and Duval. But we also know that Sutton will come for us, and perhaps we can help Joan along the way.
But we will have to at least provide contextual agreement to Mr. Duval in order to see the dig site.
Maybe. I mean, he seemed to offer, but I suppose we'll see what he has to say.
I can't imagine that he'd allow us to go down if we told him we are not interested in helping him.
Maybe.
if he has this mine and this string is in and this string will be in his hands momentarily, exactly what does he need from us?
I think it is going to be momentarily. But who knows? Maybe they are close.
I mean, it seems like he wants us to help him get rid of the Emerson gang as a threat to his possession of the string.
Right. He said they're in competition. They both want it.
Ah, I see, and he's concerned Emerson will take it from him.
Right. We eliminate the competition. He gets what he wants in time. That time might be close. Who knows? I'd like to see a way of dealing with this that, I don't know, maybe no one gets hurt. I mean, how rare are these strings? I mean, maybe we can find another one for Joan and don't have to get involved in any of this.
I mean, he
Yeah.
said might be 7, might
Extreme.
be dozen, might be 20. That's in the world.
Even
Well-
if we leave here, there's still a vampire and an undead horde that we abandoned back here. I don't think that the problems of people getting hurt get resolved by us leaving.
Hmm. Selfishly, I'd like to rob the train and take the string.
I would also like to rob the train and take the string.
Does that make me? Are we bad people for wanting that?
It's
We've
not
never been that
nearly
good at
that
Yeah, I'm not in on robbing the train anymore, for the record.
Hmm.
Why are we not? Someone's gonna get fucked over here. That's just gonna be what it's gonna be. Let us just take the shit.
Maybe if we just take the string, then there won't be a need for the conflict at all.
Well, I think they'd have conflict with us if we take the string. Both of
Yeah,
them.
one or both.
Probably both with our luck.
Shit. All right, then you got to pick a side. Then which one I want to do? You ain't picking the sides. You want walking horde or you want vampire? Yes.
Well, I guess it's a 1 versus
Many.
well, yeah.
I'm with whatever Joan decides.
I think we don't know how willingly all of Duval's thralls are here anyways. I'm interested in seeing what happens when the payroll, quote unquote, disappears. Also, how come the payroll has to be delivered in the dead of night to the
Because
train
he's a
station? Does Mr. Duval go there to pick it up himself? I mean, that seems over the top. Or is it other vampires on the train? I feel like there's just more to learn by going to the train in the first place, even if we aren't planning on blowing it up and killing everybody.
Yeah, that is something. The train does come in the middle of the night.
Yeah, but that's like
He's a vampire.
Right.
yeah.
Let this
And also
train.
That
nighttime is
doesn't tell us why it comes at night. It
What-
gives us a reason why it might need to come at night.
nighttime is
doesn't
also like
actually.
a good time for
Prime.
bringing stuff in you don't want
Or
like
people.
people to see.
Let me jump in
it's
here.
a payroll for a good amount of folks.
What
Yeah,
if
let
the
me-
payroll is bodies like humans to feed all? Like we're literally in a vampire den.
let me jump in here, right? We're getting close to the end of session, so I don't want to short circuit this conversation, but I think I can add a couple things that might give it some additional context so that either, after session above table or during the course of the week, you can discuss things. We don't have to wait for these revelations that might change things next week. Sound reasonable?
Mhm.
Okay. Mr. Duvall comes back in, says, look, I appreciate your patience. I hope that we can work together. If you do me the great kindness of helping me acquire this string, just know you will have a permanent and very powerful ally for whatever your endeavors are in the future.
It probably involves killing Everest Sutton. How you'd feel about that now?
That's if I have that string, that would be the next item on my agenda. Don't think that just because she's abandoned me for now, I think that she's abandoned me forever. Certainly, if I've acquired that which she wants, she's only abandoned me now because it's become too difficult and too cumbersome and is trying to find easier items to obtain. But if I get this thing, right, then I have removed all the difficulty for her. Getting rid of her would be necessary, but without the string, none of it matters. So I'll deal with that later. Right. What
I
I
said
need,
the same thing.
right. What I need now is assistance in getting that string. Perhaps the greatest assistance I can get is has Emerson said anything about how he's keeping these creatures docile and what's attracting them to Duvall's Bluff? From your
I've asked
silence,
specifically about the what brings them here. We haven't gotten any clear information. We did see a cow getting just absolutely devoured by a few of them. So I mean, if he's just feeding them, but seems like there needs to be more than just that.
yeah, I mean, it's not surprising that that's the only way they can feed. They don't have options to be subtle like I do. Well, as we walk, I will explain. And he stands up and he walks out into the foyer again. He motions to the agents. They put two shoulders to that statue and sort of slide it aside. And there's a spiral staircase under it that leads down. And he explains, where did this go? He explains that he would love your assistance in finding out what it is Morris Emerson has that is attracting all of these undead here. There must be something mystical or magical. It is certainly not that dude's charm.
It's the beef tartare. Thank you.
Nice. He leads you through, and I want to be mindful of the time, so I'm just going to put you sort of at the end point here, right? He leads you through a winding I'm just going to give some people some light. Oops. Yeah, he leads you through a winding set of underground paths in an area that has clearly been hollowed out. The first thing you notice it as you descend down the stairs, right? Is you see a significant number of these dudes.
Are they
Mhm.
dripped up like that too? Because
A little bit, yeah. I mean, the clothes are in various states of being tattered. And he leads you through sections of these caverns. I think you can see some of them.
Uh-huh.
Actually, maybe I still have the full. Well, that's all right. I got the full lights on, but it's fine for now. I'll turn it off for next week. And what you see in this area that he leads you to, right, is obviously on this side, there's a bunch of these Nosferatu, which are the lesser vampires, right? All sort of lined up here. There are a bunch of Walking Dead lined up on the other side. There's this sort of no man's land in here, right? Like, between the red lines, right? And he explains that there is a cavern through this pathway, right, that contains a creature, an entity that currently has this lyre string pierced through its body, right? And early on, he tried to retrieve it unsuccessfully because he didn't know what he was doing, right? By the time he figured out the right way to do it, Morris Emerson had shown up and dug through under his ranch, right? And now there's this standoff underground. And whenever anybody goes in to try and get it, the other side sort of floods in, and it's just a standoff. Any immediate questions that anyone wants to ask before we end session?
are we being asked then by Duval to retrieve this for them?
I think he just asked us to figure out how Emerson's doing what Emerson's doing.
Right. Right now, the only thing that, to Maggie's point, right now, the only thing that Duval has explicitly asked is, hey, do you guys know how he's attracting all of these things? And if you don't, can you find out? Right. He hasn't asked you to retrieve the string, at least not yet.
Yeah.
And I think that is where we will pick up session next week.